The small exploration vessel drifted through the outer rim of the galaxy when the scanning systems detected an unusual energy signature, and the pilot checked the readings twice before believing what appeared on the screen, because no known civilization existed in this sector. According to every star map in the database, Lieutenant Jake Murphy sat in the command chair of the scout ship Wandering Star and watched the holographic display with growing confusion as the energy signature grew stronger. With each passing moment, and his co-pilot Amy Brooks leaned forward to study the patterns that danced across the screen. What do you make of it? Amish shook her head slowly, and her dark hair fell across her shoulders as she manipulated the controls to get a clearer reading on whatever was generating such a powerful signal in the middle of no whites. Definitely artificial, and it's Big Jake. Really big ship rounded a small asteroid field, and both humans fell silent as an enormous station came into view, and the structure gleamed with an otherworldly purple hue that seemed to pulse with its own internal light and geometric patterns. Covered every surface in ways that hurt the eyes to follow. For too long, Jake activated the communication array and sent out a standard first contact greeting in 12 different languages and mathematical sequences, and waited for a response that he hoped would come before his superiors back on Earth started asking questions about why he had deviated from his assigned patrol roteth. Response came within seconds, and a melodious voice filled the cabin, speaking perfect English with an accent that seemed to blend every region of Earth into something entirely new and enchanting. Greetings, human vessel. We have been waiting for your kind to reach this sector, and we welcome you to Station Harmony, and please dock at Bay 7 and prepare to meet with our council. Me looked at Jake with wide eyes and whispered, "Are we really doing this, Jake?" Grinned despite the nervous energy coursing through his body and replied, "When else are we going to get a chance like this? And besides, we are explorers." Docking procedure went smoothly, and the station systems interfaced with the Wandering Star as if the technology had been specifically designed for human ships. And when the airlock opened, both humans stepped into a corridor that took their breath away. Walls seemed to be made of living crystal that shifted colors based on their proximity, and the air smelled faintly of flowers that neither Jake nor Amy could identify, and soft music played from no discernible source and created an atmosphere of peace and welcome. A delegation of 3 beings waited at the end of the corridor, and Jake felt his heart skip several beats as he took in their appearance, because they were unmistakably female and unmistakably beautiful in ways that seemed to transcend species. Bounder Reese, the leader, stepped forward, and she stood roughly 6 feet tall, with skin that shimmered between shades of pale blue and silver, and her eyes were larger than human eyes and colored a deep violet that seemed to contain entire galaxies within them, and her hair, if it could be called hair, flowed down her back like liquid starlight. Council leader Zara, and these are my sisters, Maya and Lisa, and we are so pleased to finally meet humans in person after studying your species from afar. For many cycles, Jake found his voice after a moment of stunned silence and extended his hand in greeting, which Zara accepted with a warm smile that revealed perfectly white teeth that were only slightly more pointed than human teeth. I'm Lieutenant Jake Murphy, and this is Amy Brooks, and we are honored to be here, though I have to admit this is all very unexpected. Maya stepped forward, and she was slightly shorter than Zara, with skin that leaned more toward a soft lavender shade, and her features were delicate and elegant, and she radiated a warmth that made Jake feel immediately comfortable. Understand this must be overwhelming for you, and we have much to discuss. But first, please come to the council chamber, where we can speak more privately, and refreshments will be provided at the council chamber. Turned out to be a vast circular room with a domed ceiling that displayed the stars outside in perfect clarity, and comfortable seating areas were arranged around a central platform, and the entire space felt designed to put visitors at ease. Everyone was seated. Lisa, who had remained quiet until now, spoke up, and her voice was softer than her sister's, but carried an intensity that attended attention, and her skin tone was the palest of the 3, almost appearing to glow from within. "We'll be direct with you, Jake Murphy and Amy Brooks, because your time is valuable, and so is ours, and our people face crisis that only your species can help us." Salvami leaned forward with interest and asked what kind of Chrissy. Shara took a deep breath and began to explain, and as she spoke, both humans realized just how extraordinary this situation Truly, Wasser people, the Zanari, have reached a point in our evolution where natural reproduction has become nearly impossible, and our genetic diversity has diminished to dangerous levels over thousands of years of what you might call over-engineering our biology. And we have extended our lifespans and eliminated diseases and enhanced our physical and mental capabilities, but in doing so we have lost something essential. Maya continued the explanation, while Zara paused and said, "We have lost the ability to adapt naturally. Our population declines with each generation, and within a few centuries, my people will cease to exist. Unless we find a solution." Jake felt a knot forming in his stomach as he began to understand where this conversation was heading, and he asked, "What does this have to do with humans?" Lisa answered with a slight smile that seemed both sad and hopeful. "At once and explained, your species possesses something remarkable, and your genetic code is incredibly robust and adaptable, and where we have specialized ourselves. Into near extinction, you have retained the chaos and variability that allows for true evolution and growth." Me spoke up with scientific curiosity, overriding her initial shock, and said, "So, you want to study our DNA and maybe use it to help restore?" Your genetic diversitizer nodded, but then added a complication that made both humans sit up straighter in their seat size. "But there is a problem with that approach, and we have tried synthetic methods and artificial combination of genetic material and every technological solution we could devise, and all have failed, because our biology rejects anything that is not introduced." Natural logic blinked several times as the implications sank in, and he said, Maya finished his thought with a gentle tone and replied, "Yes, and we need human genetic material introduced through natural reproductive processes, and it is the only method that our extensive research has shown will work." Room fell silent except for the soft background music, and Jake and Amy exchanged glances that communicated volumes without words. Sumi found her voice first and asked how many humans would be needed for something like the Shara, stood and walked to the center platform, where she activated a holographic display showing statistics and projections, and answered, "Ideally, we would need several human volunteers to ensure genetic diversity in the resulting offspring, and even a handful of your kind could save our entire species if they were willing to help." Ushek rubbed his face with both hands and tried to process what he was being asked to do, and finally he said, "This is insane, and you understand that, right? And you are asking us to essentially father children with alien women to save." Your species. Lisa stood and approached Jake with an earnest expression and said, "We understand how strange this must seem and how inappropriate it might appear from your cultural perspective, and we are not asking you to decide immediately, but we hope you will at least consider the possibility, and we are not asking for marriage or permanent bonds, though we would welcome friendship, and we simply need your help to ensure our children have a future." Amy asked the practical question that Jake was too overwhelmed to voice and said, "What about compatibility, and can humans and Zanari even successfully reproduce together?" Mia activated another section of the holographic display and showed detailed biological comparisons and explained our species are remarkably compatible despite our different origins, and we share approximately 70% of our base genetic structure, which our scientists believe is not coincidental but rather evidence of ancient common ancestry, or perhaps parallel evolution guided by similar universal principles. Shara added, "And we have created a comfortable residential area where human volunteers could stay while participating in our program, and all needs would be provided for, and you would be treated as honored guests and heroes of our people." Jake stood and paced around the room while organizing his thoughts, and after several minutes he turned to face the three Zanari women and said, "I need to contact my superiors, and this is way beyond my authority to decide, and humanity would need to know about this." Maya nodded understanding and replied, "Of course, and we expected nothing less, and we are prepared to open formal diplomatic channels with your government, and to share all our research and findings, and to answer any questions your people might have." Amy asked another important question, "And what happens to the children, and how would custody work?" Lisa answered with clear emotion in her voice and said the children would be raised as Zanari, but they would know their human heritage, and we would never keep them from knowing their fathers if the fathers wish to be involved, and we are not trying to steal anything from humanity. but rather to create a bridge between our peoples.